Impossible as it was to believe, an enlarged heart took down a kid already known for his big-heartedness. Let's introduce Blake to the audience so they know a little bit about who he was and what he was like, because I've gotten to know him this past summer, and I feel like I know him now. I feel like I met a new friend. And, you know, you spend enough time talking to you guys, talking to his friends, his sister, and you really have this person come alive for you. And I know that's important to you guys. So tell us a little bit about him.
He was so witty. His friends have lots of funny stories, of him. And so I really wouldn't have thought of that initially, but I think he was funny. He was extraordinarily intelligent, kind.
He was your typical son, your child, because he would love to challenge us. Like, he always thought that he had the gift of gab, that he could outsmart us, outwit us. And I would always try and get him follow some of the footsteps, some of the things I did when I was growing up, like in terms of being a caddy. And I always wanted him to be a caddy at the local golf course. And he loved it. He embraced it like I did. And he met some great people on the course, and I received some great messages. But he was just a kid that I would love to just sit on the couch and watch a football game with and be like, okay. And I remember a great story with him, which we were watching a Clemson-Georgia football game. And he goes, "Dad, whoever wins this game, that's going to be my number one choice to go to school." And I'm like, "No, it's not." I'm like, it's going to be based on a lot of other things. But he was just the conversations that we had. And that's something that's missed, is just the times that we had with him was unbelievable.
I would say he was like super caring, like in a way that you don't see in a lot of people.
He was, I'd say, hardworking, hilarious,
Outgoing.
He was very smart. He was smartest in a friend group.
I mean, he was always there for me, and that's just the type of person Blake was.
He was always just like the life of the party, always cracking jokes and making everybody laugh and smile.
He was always so intentional with everything that he did and said, in that he always made you feel cared for.
I think also, in addition to his wit, that really, was critical to me, as his passion, like even for service, which really he developed entirely on his own in high school.
Blake was a volunteer at Treast Hall.
It's a home for men with intellectual disabilities. He sat a lot with this one gentleman who had Down syndrome. And we've started to volunteer there since and love it. And the guys there missed him so much, talk about him.
Even in death, he gave to others.
Or they must not have seen the organ donor on his license, but we were about to walk out and I was like, wait, he's an organ donor. And they're like, oh my gosh. And so
we got a call a couple of days later that somebody who knows somebody who worked at a local hospital down in Philly, and they said an angel delivered life to a few kids down at a certain hospital. And they said, we can't know for sure, but we know it's Blake's.
Do we know even the number of recipients?
I think they said like 71 or 75 recipients. I mean, it's wow. Incredible.
As touching as Blake's gifts were, I couldn't help but wonder if any of this would really ease the pain of a grieving parent. Can anything be of comfort after you lose a child? How are you functioning? How are you like this? How can you talk? How can you?
Not good. It's still brutal. I mean, the pain is just like, you wake up every day, it's just like, okay, here we go. Here it is again. And it's how you choose to handle it. And again, I'm emotional. I'm a very emotional guy, but I go through the day, and it's some good days, some bad days, but it's just like, I know Blake is sitting there like, Dad, just keep moving forward.
You just don't have a choice. I mean, we have this situation. Someone said to me recently, unfortunately, a girl, 20, I think she was 20, passed away of a sudden cardiac arrest in the area as well, July 9th. And her mother, when I was talking to her, the father actually spoke at the eulogy, and he had said in there, you could be bitter or better,
He was only 17 years old. It's hard to make sense of. As I've watched the Barklage family this summer, all I could think is there's such goodness surrounding them at every turn. There's something about this family, and there was something about Blake that has brought out the very best in everyone around them. That's Blake's gift. That's their gift. You hope it doesn't happen in the wake of a tragedy. You hope it doesn't take a tragedy to see that in your life, but you guys are part of that. And I just wonder if you could tell me what the LaSalle community has gone through in the days after you lost Blake and then the weeks and months to follow.
They say it's a brotherhood at LaSalle, and that was after what we experienced. I definitely believe it, seeing like all the guys come together to support us. And even we had a game for Blake, and like the amount of kids that came out was unbelievable.
You've earned yourself another day in by far the most difficult circumstances any of us could imagine.
Everyone supports each other and just pushes you. It's awesome.
Always made me feel like one of the guys, even though I was some little freshman.
He was just a big, loving, friendly giant.
He was always smiling. Even when he wasn't having his best day, he was there to make somebody else feel better.
Blake had like a way of making literally anything we were doing fun.
Blake's friends, they're a huge part of this story. The way they've rallied to openly talk about him, to keep his memory alive, to support you two and Lexi has been inspirational. I know they used to call you guys, the group that hung out together, the Divine Nine. And Tom saw you recently and said, hey, the Grade 8. And what did you guys say?
It can't be that, because you still got Blake. It has to be 9.
Yeah, it's always going to be the 9 of us.
This picture was taken of the guys last October. Within a month, 8 of them would be pallbearers at Blake's funeral. They remain a constant presence in the Barklages' lives.
I kept spending time with them. Like, guys, this is where we need to lean on each other. Like, I need you as much as you need me, because I want to hear about the stories. I want to hear about the funny stories. Maybe not in front of Allison, but like, you can tell me those stories. I want to hear about Blake, what I didn't see, what he hid for me.
After what happened, we're literally like family now.
Yeah, especially with Alexis. Like she said to us early on that like she gained like 8 new brothers. Like her birthday was a week after Blake passed away, so we all like came together really quick, just to like try and make her birthday special for her.
The Divine Nine came into the house, snuck into the house with presents. We got video of them walking up the stairs, tiptoeing up the stairs, banging on her door, then going in, and she's like, and they all sang happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alexis. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Just trying.
Thank you.
All right, come on, get clothes on. We're going to Wawa.
Are we actually?
Yeah.
How divine are they?
Oh, they're divine. They're great. They're like the best guys. Like I don't even know how to describe them, because they're all so different, but they all like come together, and they each add like a little different sprinkle of personality to the group, which is funny at sometimes, which annoys me at sometimes, like a little older brother would. Like they actually are like my older brothers now, which is so crazy to me, because they treat me like a little sister. Like they'll embarrass me in public like an older brother would. They'll make sure I'm having no boy problems. Like they make sure of it every time I see them. They're like, no boys mistreating you, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, no. And they're like, all right, we just have to make sure, like we have to ask.
Even I remember one day putting up Christmas ornaments, the lights outside. Blake and I would always do that. I started putting the lights up, broke down in tears, walked away, couldn't do it. Next day, 7, 8 of the boys are over at the house helping me put the lights on. It's just such good kids.
Good kids who will never forget a good friend. One of our sponsors today is Donors Trust, the principled, tax-friendly way to simplify your charitable giving. Cancel culture does not just affect comedians and commentators anymore. It also affects everyday, hardworking Americans. How so? It derails their charitable giving. Take Jeannie's story, for example. Jeannie did her charitable giving through one of the big national donor-advised fund providers. That is, until, without a clear reason, it refused to send her charitable donation to a conservative nonprofit. This is happening more and more. She shares her story this way. I'm a conservative. I believe America is great despite her imperfections, and that capitalism brings great good to society rather than government, she said. Earlier this year, I requested another gift from my donor-advised fund, and it was rejected. Jeannie wanted a donor-advised fund that shares her conservative principles, and she found it in Donors Trust, the oldest and largest donor-advised fund committed to limited government, personal responsibility, and free enterprise. Do you want a principled partner helping you support causes close to your heart? If so, consider opening a donor-advised fund with Donors Trust. For more information on how Donors Trust can help you with your charitable giving, visit www.donorstrust, DONORS, trust.org/MK to receive a free copy of their donor prospectus. That's donorstrust.org/MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.